Hey everybody, welcome back to another Wvgunsngoats video, and tonight we are taking a look at ADE's newest red dot, the Artemis. So the name Artemis comes from the Greek goddess of the hunt, a fairly fitting name for a firearm optic. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, and join the herd here at Wvgunsngoats. Next, I will say that this optic was supplied to us for this review by ADE. Thanks y'all for sending this to us. I appreciate it. Now, I am not paid by these companies to do these reviews. However, I will accept products for review. Everything I go over in these video reviews are my experiences with these products, and if we have any problems, well, I'll let y'all know about it. Now, before we had a pretty good experience with their other red dot, the Trumpet, and if you'd like to see a review of that optic, there will be a link in the description of this video. Before we get started and open up this nice little package and unbox it, because it's got a little bit of weight to it, it feels like they got a bunch of stuff crammed into here, I want to talk about how I personally classify red dot optics. Now, these are just my personal opinions. Feel free to skip to the unboxing if you just want to see the optic. Now, I like to think of red dots in three different classes, and those are, you got your airsoft tier, or your 22 LR only, your recreational optics, and then you got your duty grade. So your airsoft tier and 22 LR only, that's the stuff you're going to find at the gun show tables. Usually comes in a brown box with no labeling on it. However, the guy behind the table is going to try to tell you, yeah, it's just as good as an Aimpoint. The company actually tests each optic, unlike Aimpoint. Now, I swear I heard a vendor at a Maryland gun show tell the crowd of people at his table these exact words, and it stuck with me so much, I still remember it over 15 years later. This class also includes stuff you'd get from websites such as wish.com and those 4-in-1 packages some ad on Facebook is trying to sell you with a light, a laser, a 4x magnification scope, and a waffle maker. The optics in this class are just going to end up costing you more money as you actually have to replace it with a functional optic once you try to use it on something that actually has some recoil. Let's talk about the recreational optic class. I believe this class of optics starts at a minimum around $100 and goes up to around $500-ish, and that's generous at the top because there is some bleed over between the company's high-end offerings that are starting to be proven as duty-rated optics. However, a majority of the manufacturers of inexpensive red dots fit into this class of optic. ADE, they sit firmly in the recreational optic class with this Artemis red dot coming in at around $120 on their website, adeoptics.com or adeadvancedoptics.com. Now, a recreational class optic is great for those of you looking to equip multiple guns that may go to the range semi-regularly, or you have a bunch of guns sitting in a safe and you want to put a sighting system on them. Well, now you have a nice affordable option that'll hold zero. It'll actually function as a red dot, and it probably won't break on you. But if it's a gun that is being used as your concealed carry piece or your home defense optic, well, then you'll want to get a duty grade optic. Now, where these recreational optics also come in is perhaps you've purchased a handgun with a red dot cut. Maybe it's your first one. Maybe you're looking to try out shooting a red dot on a handgun because you're not sure if you're actually going to enjoy it or not. Some people don't. They prefer iron sights. And you know what? That's okay, because shooting a handgun with a red dot, it takes a good bit of training to get used to. However, once you do, you'll see the benefits of a faster target acquisition, quicker on target, and faster shooting in general. And these optics can be a gateway into the duty grade optic. So let's talk about that. Now, the duty grade class of optics, where you're going to start to spend some money. As I said, you can usually find these optics on sale for around $400-ish, but they generally don't cost less than that. But these are the optics that you can trust your life to, your RMRs, your Delta Points, your Aimpoint Acro. You know, if the military or police use optics made by these companies, you can trust your life to it. These are what you want to put on your carry gun or on your home defense gun. Thanks for listening to me ramble about that. Let's go ahead and unbox this and see everything that comes inside of it. All right, everybody, I adjusted the camera there. Let's go ahead and look at the bottom of the package here, where we see a nice little chart of the features. 2-minute auto sleep, a 2 MOA dot, plus a 50 MOA circle, and you see a choice of 6 different reticles there. You have 7 daylight and 1 night vision setting. This is rated up to 9mm on handgun slides. Now, they said as more testing is done, they may raise that as the results come in and they find out that it'll handle heavier recoiling handguns. Now, they said it should be fine on like a 5.56 rifle as well. It takes a CR 1632, has 10,000 hours of battery life, and I guess that max means probably on the maximum setting. It may be a little bit more on one of the lesser settings. This is RMR footprint optic. It is not waterproof. There's some dimensions, and it only weighs 1.05 ounces. So let's go ahead. We'll pop this open. Yep, it's branded. Get the ADE logo there. Now the first thing we see is a bunch of stuff in here, but it has a silicone rubber cover. We have a gasket that goes between the optic and the slide. And let's see what else we got here. We got a little packet of tools, an Allen key and a Torx key. And we have this lens cloth. Now in here, we have a baggie full of a couple smaller baggies. And inside those is your screws for attaching the optic. And it comes with a selection of them. Looks like you've got a 440 by 1/4 inch and a 440 by 5/16 and a 6/32 by 5/16. Now the 440s are for slides that have the pegs that stick up on them, and the 6/32s are for slides like the dagger or other direct mount optics RMR cut slides where they're just flat like this. Those are generally the 6/32. Next up, we have a little manual here. And you can see those reticles a little bit better right there, because this is a multi-reticle optic. And then I had actually already opened this to put the battery in it just to make sure that it wasn't dead on arrival. And it is a CR 1632. Now that little Allen key that comes in the tool package, that is for changing the battery. All right, get that off of its little stand there. Now, if we see here, the battery is actually on top, so you don't have to worry about removing your optic to change your battery. So if we look at the optic itself, we have the adjustment for windage and elevation. You actually see they have the little arrow with the up and right movements on them. We have a little iron sight back here. And then we have patent pending, and we have 2 buttons on the side there. Now this button up front, that is the button to change the reticle, and it will cycle through all the different reticles. And then back here is the brightness setting. Here is the dot reticle, and then we're going to press the button and cycle through the reticles now that we got it to focus. There's the circle, the crosshair, the circle dot, the crosshair dot, and the circle crosshair dot. Now these are a lot more crisp in real life. They're just really hard to pick up on the camera. And if we press the back button here, we can cycle through all the different settings, maximum brightness down to and off, and then back to maximum brightness. All right, so that's all the features of the ADE Artemis red dot along with the unboxing. Now we're going to mount that on this PSA dagger. I'm not sure if I can show you myself mounting it on there due to YouTube rules, but I'm going to go ahead, get that all mounted up, and then we're going to take it out to the range. Oh, but before we do, I have to let y'all know that it does include 2 screws that are fairly long, and I had to cut these to length. These are 6/32 screws, and I cut them down to length to custom fit the dagger slide. So you may have to cut them down depending on what gun you're putting them on. So that was just one thing I noticed with the sight when I went to mount it. All right, everybody, we've got the ADE Artemis mounted to the PSA dagger here. And my thoughts on these recreational grade red dots when they mounted to a handgun slide, you'll find out that they're going to fail fairly shortly after you start firing. And that's due to the violence that that optic is subjected to being mounted on a handgun slide. The sudden acceleration, G-forces it has to withstand, plus coming to a sudden stop every time you shoot. really beat an optic up. So you're going to find out if they're going to hold up or not. All right, so to add some elevation to that, take the little Allen key that came in the tool packet, and we're going to turn this little knob here left or counterclockwise to move up. So let's see how that does. All right, we're almost there. And I will show you guys this target when we get it sighted in. The windage seems pretty good on this optic. Just put a little bit of windage into it. Okay, so no problems, the dot's still working fine. Just verify our optic with about 5 rounds here and see if we got it sighted in. All right, so it looks like we got it sighted in there. Let's go ahead and see how this does on the plate rack. That was with the 2 MOA dot. I'm going to try it next with the larger circle reticle, which is a 50 MOA circle. So all y'all can see this button up here, this changes your reticle. It'll cycle through the 6 different reticles that this sight has. So let's see how that circle does on the plate rack. It helps if you load the gun first. All right, now let's try the circle on the plate rack. Not bad. A lot easier to pick up than that little 2 MOA dot. Crosshair reticle. Oh, I was going good, but I ran out of ammo. .89. I ran out, but 2.42. All right, so what do I think about this ADE Artemis red dot sight? Well, after we did the tabletop unboxing, we mounted it to this PSA dagger here, and we brought it out to the range, and we shot about 90 rounds through it. In those 90 rounds, we didn't have any functional issues, no problems with the reticles randomly changing, no problems with the brightness randomly changing, and it held 0. So far, it looks like it's going to be a good recreational grade red dot, and it is available for about $120 at ADE Optics or ADEadvancedoptics.com. Next, I want to tell you some of my observations here. The screws that come with this. In the unboxing portion, you saw some little baggies of screws. Now the 6/32 screws that came in that baggie, I felt were too short and wouldn't have had a lot of thread engagement into the slide. So I cut down the longer screws that held the sight to that little blue piece of plastic that was in the box. So it gave it more thread engagement, so they should be stronger, more threads for that Loctite to hold on to. Next, if you're someone who likes to shoot a thumbs high grip like this, and you have longer thumbs than I do, you may accidentally change the reticle on your sight. That button is easy to hit, and it's just a momentary button. Next up, if you're a guy or gal who likes to rack the slide using the optic as a charging handle, you're definitely going to change your reticles. And you may be aware that after you holster it and unholster it, well, it may have changed too. I would like to see them do in a later revision of this optic is maybe change that button to a press and hold button instead of a momentary button, and that would alleviate that issue. That was really the only big design issue I noticed on the site that may give you problems. I'm going to be doing some more shooting with this gun, with this optic mounted, to see how it holds up in the long run, and I'll give you guys updates if we have any issues with it. So remember, guys and gals, if you're not out there having fun shooting, what are you doing?